Hi, everyone. Today I have with me Jen Poniatowski. Jen is the contributing author for the Mortgage Manager Mastery Book, a sales leadership book for new and experienced leaders in the mortgage and financial industry. Jen wrote a fabulous chapter titled Power of Recognition, Celebrating Wins to Boost Engagement. Jen is the SVP at Key Mortgage Services. She's a head of market growth and previously was with Credit Union One and others. Hi, Jen. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Pat. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to write a chapter for the book. It was a great experience. But I have always been a big advocate of recognition. And I think that when we're thinking about how we're recognizing our teams, we're doing it maybe a little too broad, and it should really be authentic to those individuals to help build culture in the organization. So I've always thought that we have to do a little bit more than like a pat on the back or a fist bump, like, hey, you're doing
Yeah,
great. And celebrating each individual maybe a little differently. Maybe not have it be so results driven, but maybe activity driven. Some like money, some want more celebration, or maybe they need support in a different way. So I
sure.
there's many different ways that we can recognize our teams. Unfortunately, in our business, it's just been known, loan originators you get recognized by their compensation. Like that's it. When they're
Right.
doing so much more, and in order to retain them, we have to do more to make sure that we recognize what it is that they're doing to stay successful.
Well, I can't agree with you anymore because it's so true. It's more than money. And I think managers often think that, well, they're paid, so why are they, not motivated or in essence going to the next step? Well, that leads to the next question. So what's the action step that managers maybe could implement tomorrow that would actually put this effort that you're talking about in play?
So I am a firm believer in having a win review approach. So some institutions implement business loss reviews where you're looking at the deals that you
Yeah.
didn't get or, the goals that you didn't hit. But I like to look at, wow, what have you done to get you to this point? And so case in point, recently I had an originator that hit her biggest month of her entire career. She's been in the career in origination for about 10 years. And last month was her biggest month
Mhm.
ever. And if you look at the last 10 years, that's a big deal. So it was like, I want to look at everything that you've done the months prior to get to this point, because that is going to be really interesting to understand to keep you on this growth pattern. So again, and then it's also just mentality. When you're sitting in a room with somebody saying why I didn't get a deal or why I couldn't get an appointment with an agent, it's really, really frustrating to sit through and can feel like you're sitting in a funeral, if I'm being very honest. So I think just the mindset of staying on this positive approach of what's working. And again, it's not always result driven, but it could be activity driven to see, what's leading to our successes.
Leads to the next question, which is if we do the crystal ball and look out a few years going forward, what is some of the things that is the biggest opportunity you think for managers?
Oh boy, the mortgage industry has changed so quickly and vastly over the last few years. I think that we really, really need to make sure that our teams are aligned with our culture. I think recruiting is difficult, but let's really focus on retention and how can we grow
Hmm.
within. And I think that's a really big opportunity that we have, and I think something that we're seeing, and doing it in ways like outside of compensation or outside of giving retention bonuses. Why don't
Sure.
we look at ways that our technology can help support our team and investing in that, and investing in our people with giving them more marketing or more coaching sessions? I think it's really, really important. A big driver in our business is recruiting, and I wholeheartedly obviously believe that we need some of that, but I think like shifting this focus to retention and supporting your people is something that we should really, really be focusing on in the years to come.
Well, I agree with that completely. And that's something that the industry has not been really good at. So you're exactly right. So any other takeaways that you want to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, I just think again, just really taking the time to understand your team, their personalities, their goals, one size doesn't fit all. There's many
Mhm.
different personalities in mortgage and beyond, obviously I oversee a salespeople, but our processing and our operations staff is just as important. So what are we doing collectively to ensure that our people are being appropriately recognized and building our culture for continued growth?
Well, I agree again with that. Our people are our biggest asset, and I think sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle for sure. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your insights today, and certainly for everyone watching today, you can get a deeper dive on Jen's chapter by going to the mortgagemanagermastery.com site or order through Amazon.